Lights. Camera. Perth. When I moved back to Perth in 2019, I imagined my dream of being a director was over. Always dreaming of a career in the film industry, I decided that won't do. My name is Aren Herbert Hoogerdijk, and I've set out to find out what happens in the WA film industry and what opportunities lie on the horizon. After a short amount of research, I found my previous disposition to be misguided. We seem to have a bustling film industry right here on local soil. I decided to reach out to 3 industry leads here in Perth. I was first able to contact Ben Young. Ben has directed 3 feature films and many TV show episodes. His first feature film, a WA production called Hounds of Love, was critically acclaimed and kickstarted an international career working with stars such as Michael Pena, Billy Bob Thornton and Robin Wright. So what did Hounds of Love do to your career?
I mean, Hounds of Love completely changed my career in the sense that, I was someone in Perth who nobody took very seriously. But then all of a sudden I made this movie that got into the Venice Film Festival. It won an award at the Venice Film Festival. And then I kind of got to skip Melbourne and Sydney because, as cliche as it sounds, Hollywood came a-knocking. And the day after the premiere for Hounds of Love, I thought, oh yeah, the movie played all right last night. I'll go have some drinks with the cast, which I did. I woke up and my phone had exploded. I somehow had like 86 missed calls. I don't even know how anyone got my number. And my social media had exploded because Variety had done a really generous review on the movie. And so every agent in Hollywood decided that they wanted to represent me. And
That's awesome.
So yeah, I went from being someone who couldn't get a meeting in Australia to literally overnight every agent in Hollywood wanted a meeting with me. So yeah, it completely changed my life. And I was really sort of underprepared with how to navigate that. And I think then spent the next few years of my career, in fact, the next 5 years of my career, making a lot of mistakes.
A couple questions about, more specifically, Population 11, but also I guess works for the 12 as well. What do you think that productions like that mean for the WA film industry?
I think the fact that productions like Population 11 and the 12 are coming to Western Australia is the best thing that's ever happened to the industry. It's awesome because it gives us a chance to prove nationally that we as West Australians are capable of producing material which is as good as anywhere in the country. And more importantly, like what is so fantastic is for years and years, the bread and butter of crew in Western Australia has been television commercials. And now it doesn't have to be. Now everybody gets to work on drama, which means they're employed for a much longer period of time and they can skill up, they can level up because they're doing it more and more often. So I think it's the best thing that's ever happened to Western Australia, myself.
What do you think the future looks like for the Perth film industry?
I think the future for the Perth film industry is going to be booming. We've got the studio building. Like I said, we've got more production going on in WA now than I think has ever been the case historically. So it's going to, unless we fuck it up somehow, there's just going to be more and more stuff that comes to WA because we've got such great crew, such beautiful locations. We're about to have a studio, and yeah, it's a very livable city.
Next, I got the chance to talk to Hale. Ian owns The Backlot, a cinema in Perth, and Halo Films, a production company in WA that is specifically designed to support emerging filmmakers.
I left the studio system primarily to try and do something to support the local industry, and I didn't really like. I didn't want to be a corporate all my life, so I wanted to do something different. About 2 years ago, I started Halo Films to support local independent filmmakers that didn't have distribution deals to get their films seen in cinemas. Initially, I did it to support a film called The Crossing. Kind of grew from there, I didn't really think. I thought I'd be lucky to be releasing one film a year or one every 2 years. But they say there's a famous saying, build it and they'll come. And I started getting all these amazing films coming out of nowhere, and in the end, I couldn't say no to any of them. So I've been working furiously for the last 2 years establishing Halo, and it's going really well. There's, I wouldn't say there's any one particular film that's been more successful because for me, Halo is not necessarily a money-making venture. It's about supporting the film. So I think every film that I've supported has been successful.
What do you think about the future of the WA film industry?
Initially, it was slim pickings. There weren't a lot of projects getting up, and there weren't a lot of projects that were getting made here. But also, even some of the Screen West productions now and some of the, rich Stan original stuff that Ben's been working on, I can't agree more. I think it's fantastic for the state. It's fantastic for the local crews. It means that they're constantly going to get work. The new studio coming on board very shortly, which is really exciting as well. There's going to be, large-scale productions coming into Perth, which can only benefit not just the crews, but if you grow the pie, I've always said this, I'm a big believer in if you grow the pie, everyone wins. And, having a $200 million studio here can't be a bad thing. So, and again, this, I think the industry, and I work a lot with a lot of emerging filmmakers because that's really what gets me out of bed in the morning. It's what I'm passionate about. And I see the level of some of the talent of some of the young filmmakers that certainly come through the backlot and through Hale, and they're absolutely world class. All they need is an opportunity, and I think that's what's starting to happen now that the content, the local content, started ramping up. Yeah, it's a really exciting time to be part of it.
Lastly, I spoke to Suzanne Warner. Suzanne produces independent films right here in WA, is the General Manager and Communications Director of the Revelation Film Festival, and runs the WA Screen Culture Awards.
Well, I understand that you organised the Screen Culture Awards, which is a fantastic little award show right here in WA. How did you get involved in that?
So that's my baby, basically. So when FTI folded about 2015, the WA Screen Awards went with it, and I really thought that was something missing for the industry. There was no acknowledgement for anyone in the industry for anything. We give away awards in WA for everything. Best dentist, best real estate, best everything, but we don't have anything for the screen industry. I kept trying to convince the powers that be to maybe do something about that. After a while, there was just nothing coming back from that, so we just went, okay, we'll do it ourselves.
What do you think the future holds for the WA industry?
I really hope we are going to be supportive of each other. I think at the moment there's just this bit of funding and people are sort of almost pitched against each other. So the Screen Culture Awards, for example, that covers traditional screen culture, but it also covers gaming and augmented reality and VR and all sorts of other things, because I think all of these things are connected. So if we can support each other instead of being siloed off, that would be really helpful. Yeah, there are so many different productions going on, so many different ways of doing productions, and if we can support each other instead of, if this one's the only one that's got the funding and the only one we hear of, meanwhile there's all this other stuff happening, we're missing that. So let's be aware of everything. I would like our advocacy body to be advocating for the entire industry.
Maybe my dream is not over. There are many more projects happening here than I originally thought. How does this benefit me though? How does it benefit you? I wonder if I can get some advice so we can all capitalise on the current developments in the WA film industry.
Yeah, I think the best piece of advice that I have for any filmmakers is just do it. And it's so much easier to do now than it was when I was a student, because the camera on your iPhone is better than the cameras that I had in my final year at university. And I needed to cut something the other day and I just searched free editing software and I downloaded something and an hour later I was able to cut video. So yeah, it's just make stuff, and it doesn't even have to be long, I would encourage people to make really short stuff. Festivals love really short films.
This is not just for filmmakers. This is there are a lot of talented people in every field. The people who make it aren't always the most talented, and anyone who's made it in any sphere will tell you that. Is that perseverance? It really is all about perseverance. So if I can give any piece of advice, it's never give up, because it's a true saying. Like, the people who make it are the ones that failed. And they just never gave up. The ones that didn't make it are the ones that just gave up and did something else. So if you really are determined to be a filmmaker, learn from your mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. The other thing is to not fear making mistakes, because if you don't make a mistake, you're never going to learn. So I guess they're the two things that I would recommend to any filmmaker.
Take every opportunity you can to go and mingle and to see people. I try to, with Rev, try to create as many events. Like a lot of films, yes, you can sit at home on your couch and watch it. Obviously, you're not ever going to get the best experience, but you can do that. So what's the reason to get out there? So we push that to audiences, here's a reason to immerse yourself in it here, but also for people in the industry, here's how you come and meet people, and that's where your next job might be coming from.
That was some great advice. This really is an exciting time and it makes me want to be part of this fantastic industry. I'm very optimistic about the future, and I hope you are too. That's all for now. See you at the movies.